Hey gang, this is Mike Headley, host of the Headley Real Estate Show. First, I want to thank you all for tuning in. This is a podcast for real estate professionals to pick up tips and insights to continue to increase business in their business and show other areas of real estate how you can make money and continue to grow your business. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, ladies and gents, we are back with another great episode on the Headley Real Estate Show. We got a brother who's been in the business since 2014, 8 years to be exact. His brother, we looked at his social media and we said, I think this brother would be a good fit for our community, supplying good advice, good suggestions, and good insight. His brother has, I think, a lot of talents here. You know, his brother, I think he does his funny videos on TikTok as well. That was a good highlight. He is with Washington Real Estate and Investments, LLC, brokered by EXP. Let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Brandon Washington. How you doing, sir?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity. Absolutely.
So, Brandon, one thing about our show, we're still professional, but we ain't too formal. We're going to relax. We're just going to have a great conversation. And I seen you been in the business 8 years. What was that driving factor? What made you say, so I want to get my real estate license and I want to get out there and sell some homes? Because everybody got different motivations. Why? What was yours?
So at the time, I had recently moved to Birmingham from Nashville, and basically transferred my job. Well, couldn't transfer, so I had to find another job with a different company, and basically it just wasn't panning out right. And I had considered real estate, in the past, but the timing wasn't right. And so I figured since I moved to Birmingham, got married, and I figured I'd be here for a little while. So I always wanted to kind of look into real estate on the side, just kind of as a part-time hobby, I guess, if you will, and earn some extra income. But at the time when I decided to go ahead and get my license, the job that I had wasn't working out very well. I wasn't enjoying it. And so I just figured, hey, let me look into getting my real estate license now. And got my license. And so every day after work, spending an hour, 2 hour doing an online real estate class, and ended up doing the whole thing in about 2.5 months or so. Okay. And got my real estate license and got a few clients and started having a little success and was enjoying it, the flexibility and just enjoying the profession and helping people find their homes and whatnot. And just really enjoyed it, and found myself working real estate more than I was working my full-time job. So at work, working on real estate stuff. So so basically it came to a point to where I was on contract at that time, and my manager asked me if I wanted to go full-time. And I just decided that I wanted to leave the IT world behind and just jump head first into real estate. So didn't know what I was in for, but I just knew I was enjoying real estate at the time, and I didn't want to continue to work in the IT sector. So that's kind of how I got into real estate.
Well, one thing it's a plus there is that you have an IT background, because you get some people get into this real estate field and they think we pushing paper, which them days is over with, right? So we have to be computer savvy, or we have to know a little bit of some IT, probably not that a great extent that you got, but some come in the game and then it's like they're not as sharp. So then they have to sharpen that sword as well as doing real estate, right? So I applaud you for that. How long did it take after, let's say, 90 days, 6 months, a year, for you to get your first deal, and what was that deal like?
I would probably say, I wouldn't say maybe about 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
The first one.
All right.
And so it was kind of one of those things where, you studied, you did all the training, and you theoretically understand how it all goes, but you just want to get your first one under your belt to really see how it all flows from start to finish. And I was kind of getting frustrated a little bit.
Like we all do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so finally got my first client. the help of a good friend who referred it to me, and got it to the finish line. And that was looking back after that. I was like, oh yeah, I'm loving this. I like this. I enjoy this. So definitely not turning back. And it just kind of started rolling from there.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
But yeah.
So 90 days, at 90 days, close to 4 months, you got that first transaction. How much, I guess, was your schooling, real estate school, did that play in that first transaction? Or did it play any? Or did it play the whole lot?
Yeah, a lot. Knowing, one, the contracts and being familiar with the contracts and what all the verbiage says. And me having an IT background, I like to know everything, what's going on through every aspect of it. So if I don't understand something, then I can't be confident in basically trying to sell it to somebody else, so to speak. And so if I don't have that confidence, then my position and my posture is just not there, like very timid. And, I can't really speak to it because I don't know it. Mm-hmm. And if I don't know something, then I'm not going to utter a word. So I'm not one that just flies by the seat of their pants and just, take a little bit and just run with it. I have to know every little thing. So understanding the contracts was very important, and had a lot of great training through my mentors and team leads at Keller Williams at the time. Mm-hmm. And, taught me very well and went through everything with me and made sure I understand. And a lot of self-study, but also great training. So just understanding the contracts and how to basically guide people through it and be able to speak to it and teach someone else, my clients. Because, I hate for my clients to just sign away stuff and don't know what they're signing. And then, they get wrapped up in the process, because purchasing a home is a very big step. And so I like for people to understand what's going on, what they're signing, and have a good understanding about the whole process, and not just get to the closing table or even in the home and don't understand like all of their rights and just everything that goes along with the process of purchasing a home. So that was very important for me to understand everything in the contract. And then outside of that is just, all the training of sitting through a closing. I had a good friend that allowed me to sit through a closing with him and kind of shadow, just so I can see that before it was actually my time to be in a closing. And so just having that good leadership was very important and vital for me to feel comfortable to be able to lead someone else through it. So
I like what you said. I want to peel back that onion a little bit. When you said understanding the contract, because again, you wanted to have I don't know if confidence played a role in it. You want to know what you was talking about, basically. And the last thing someone wants to do is not really understand, but then they have questions later on. You cleared all that up, right?
Right.
Someone asked me the other day, and they asked me about, hey, what's this newbie in the business? And she said, well, what are the main 2 or 3 things that you would recommend? One thing I said is understanding your contracts and your addendums, like understanding them from A to Z. So this way you can spill off that understanding to them, and then they can receive it and we can move on with the transaction. So kudos to you on that. Okay. Let's transition to the training. You mentioned mentors. How much of an important role would you recommend or suggest to a seasoned? Because sometimes, seasoned people, we get in the business feel as though, I know that, I know what I'm doing. I don't need to read nothing. I don't need to take an additional class. What would you say to a new person and a seasoned person concerning training, mentor?
Well, at any phase, I definitely think that you consistently need to, as a seasoned person, just to refresh on some of the basics that you get away from. And so, to renew our license, we have to take a certain amount of hours and CE classes or whatnot. And, they're dreadful, because we're in the business of just like, move. And if it don't make money, then you don't want to waste time doing it.
Correct.
They're important because it refreshes you on some of the basics and brings some of those things back to remembrance that you may have forgotten. And so I think definitely as a seasoned realtor, you just want to continue to challenge yourself to learn something new in the industry. So always seeking to learn new things, but just go back to the ground floor and to the beginning and some of those refresher courses to kind of refresh your memory on certain things. Something as simple as, I don't know, earnest money or whatever, and how is it, and what's the rules around earnest money? I mean, there's something simple that, you know, we should know, and that's out there, it's like second nature. But, you know, to know something and to be able to communicate is two different things.
Wow, powerful.
I've had a lot of professors or people that are very witty, very smart, and know a particular subject inside and out. But when you ask them to explain it to me in ABC terms, it's impossible. So
good point.
But that's very important. But definitely, as a newcomer in the business, training is vital to your success or failure in the business. So definitely getting connected with a mentor, I think, is important. Yeah, definitely as a beginner, in the industry, for me personally, being able to just tag along with someone and someone I felt comfortable with, just asking them questions, whether big or small, just being able to have someone there to ask questions and kind of give some guidance was very important to me. So that was one of the key decisions for me in picking Keller Williams. It's just because of the amount of training that they provided and that they, marketed to people interested in coming into the real estate industry, brokerage, and just the fact that they, kind of connect you with mentors to help guide you through the process until you're able to, walk on your own and run by yourself. So I think that was very important for me, and I think it's vital for anybody new coming into the industry.
See, and one, I want to give you kudos as well as, and again, I don't want to speak for you, but what I'm hearing a lot of is Brandon saying, hey, I want to be a part of that. I need some assistance. Can I sit on the closing with you? I'm willing to learn, because I just think we can offer so many different services, platforms, trainings, but if you don't take advantage of it, it's useless, right? So, because I think that's the piece where, and again, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think that's the disconnect, what I see with some newbies, not all, whereas though it's like you have to put forth some effort. Like you have to say, I know to come to that party, and in order to dance, you got to come to the party, right? So I kudos you on that. Quick commercial break. If you're interested in a career in real estate, or you're a seasoned vet, you might want to change, new environment. You don't like the atmosphere you're in. The Headley Group Realty could be there to assist you with your career. What do we offer? Great culture, great environment, leads, and an awesome commission structure. Let us be there to support your business. One thing, you got to be in the state of North Carolina. Let's get back to the show. So in terms of Brandon, your business, again, I heard you mention a marketing person. What exactly is that your makeup look like? I mean, what is it, you or the team, or what do you have ongoing?
Yeah, so it's just me. Me. I'm a one-man team. Okay. Definitely would like to expand that and kind of grow and hire and kind of have a team. But as of now, I'm just really utilizing my project management skills, which is basically using the resources around me and just reaching out to people as I need certain things. Like every now and then, I mean, if I'm too overwhelmed or what have you, basically reaching out to different closing transaction coordinators, or marketing, or just attorneys, and just kind of trying to realizing when I'm in over my head and I need to kind of reach out and bring in some resources to kind of help me manage my plate, my workload. But for the most part, it's just me trying to being a one-man team and doing everything. So
got you. So it's more like just like with a home, as needed basis with a contract. With a plumber, I need you when I need you, right? So because at the same time, you got to watch them dollars. I definitely get that. Well, I understand. That's what it's all about. You're 8 years into the business. If you mind sharing, how many transactions have you counted? How many transactions have you knocked out?
I have no clue.
Okay, and so that means horrible. A lot. That means a lot.
That's horrible. I should be tracking. That's kind of one of the things that they teach you is, know your numbers and kind of track your numbers and success. But for me, it's just, one after another transactions and just kind of knocking them out as they come, and just continue to just trying to be consistent and going after new leads and just trying to keep that pipeline filled, and close out one, focus on the next. So at some point, I need to go back and just kind of sit and calculate up the numbers and just trying to look back at all the transactions. But I have no clue, honestly, how many transactions.
Okay. Do you specialize in a certain area of real estate? Some people want buyers, they want sellers. I focus on within duplexes. Do you have a certain specialization, or it doesn't matter?
Primarily just residential is all I've really dealt with. So I haven't gotten into not really the commercial space, but even with apartment complexes, I haven't really dove into those or had any opportunities to have clients to purchase or sell those. So just been mainly single family homes. So and I don't really have a area that I specialize in. So I like to work with anyone. So buyers, sellers, investors. So it doesn't matter. It's just kind of, if someone reaches out to me, or I find someone that's in need of some help in that area, whatever space, then me being a by nature a helper, I'm just seeking to see how I can help you get to reach your goal and get, accomplish that. So
nice.
As of lately, I guess you can say within the past year or two, I've tried to really establish some relationships with investors and try to work with them more for my own selfish reasons, because I eventually want to get into investing and then purchase property. So just in an effort for me to learn the business and learn how investors vet numbers and how they look at properties, it allowed me to, see that first and foremost and firsthand, just so I can learn how they look at everything until I'm able, until my time comes, basically.
Okay. COVID happened. COVID came out of nowhere, disrupted our industry. We can't say post, but I guess we're still working through it.
Right.
What was your pivot like? Did you pivot, or how did you bounce back, or walk us through that?
Man, I'd say COVID took me down. Definitely slowed down business a lot. And really the only way I could kind of somewhat, if you will, kept my head out of the water was really working with investors, because they were still rocking and rolling. And so that was prime time for investors to buy up properties. So just having the relationships that I did with the investors that I had, just being able to find them property and being able to float with them, because buyers kind of put everything on hold because nobody knew what was happening with their jobs. Some people thought they were qualified to purchase a home, but then their jobs got cut, laid off, or whatever, reduced hours, so they weren't qualified anymore. And sellers, they were fearful of people, rightfully so, coming in and out of their homes. And so a lot of people took their house off the market or decided to postpone selling their homes. So that definitely took a hit to a lot of people in the real estate industry. COVID definitely hit hard on a lot of people in this industry. So but yeah, working with investors really kind of helped me to stay afloat and kept me from getting evicted.
Got you. So, and actually that leads to kind of the question I'm gonna ask you now was, what keeps you motivated? Just like you mentioned earlier, we get frustrated in this business, right? We work with a client, and I always tell the team, never count that commission check until it's in your bank account, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Anything can happen, right? So it can take our emotions like that. What keeps Brandon motivated to say, okay, well, I'm gonna get the next deal and the next deal? What's that look like?
Just being disgusted with the idea of quitting. So it's just a inner thing for me is, it's not working out right now. Definitely a ton of days being frustrated. A lot of peaks and valleys or whatnot. But just the mere fact of I don't want to quit. Like, I enjoy real estate and I like all the opportunities and the possibilities. And so until I reach that particular moment where I'm fulfilled in real estate and really feel like I've done a great amount of work, in the industry, I just want to keep going. Like, it's crazy, and I joke about it all the time. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like, like 100% commission. If I don't close nothing, then I don't eat. And so, but I still continue to, stay in the industry and keep going and keep going. And, clients can drop off at the blink of an eye. One day they'll want to buy, and then the next day they'll wake up and say, I changed my mind, I don't want to buy anymore. Or a seller, I changed my mind, I'm gonna take my house off the market. And so you've invested, hours and hours, or sometimes even months, with the particular client, and then just poof, at the blink of an eye, it's gone. And so that's wasted time or what have you. And it's taxing on you. And so definitely for somebody like me, who always just kind of has a fear of rejection, so to speak. And so just trying not to take those things personally. I mean, it's just a part of the business. I mean, it's an investment. Real estate is an investment. And so you just kind of take the punches and keep on rolling. I mean, you never can get comfortable with one or two clients. I mean, you just got to always keep going, seeking new clients, seeking new business, because you just never know. Like, it's not a 100% guaranteed thing. And so you just got to get comfortable with that and understand that, and just put systems in place and have a bit of consistency, and just have some grit in you, inside of you, and just that willingness not to quit and just keep going.
Off word you just mentioned was grit. Oh, well, I think that is the nucleus to pretty much everything. Hey guys, thank you for watching our show. We're going to interrupt you real quickly. We are in the business of referrals. If you know someone looking to buy or sell, residential or commercial, here in the North Carolina area, refer us. We really appreciate that. 8 years ago, found out you got your license. The knowledge, the experience you have now, what would you tell that person? Go this way, go that way, don't join that one, do this. What would you say to them? Yeah.
One, don't quit your full-time job so soon. Okay. Definitely. So one of the biggest things I did not understand then, that I understand now, is that you are your own business. You're running your own business. And so part of that, and running your own business, which I didn't understand, that a friend of mine kind of told me and educated me on, is like, a lot of businesses operate out of debt. So meaning, businesses don't necessarily run off of the money that they make each month, like the revenue. So some businesses, they don't have closings every month, or the profits aren't where they are. They may be down in sales if you're in a retail business, maybe in negative, but you gotta always pretty much have some line of credit, a loan, or some stash of money or what have you, to float and pay the bills each month, regardless of if you have a closing or your sales are or in the plus side or not. I mean, you still have to operate, and you still have to pay your employees, you still have to pay your own bills. And so that's something I didn't understand at the time. And so the times where you didn't have closings, because in this business, you can feel like you won a lottery. You have 3-4 closings in a month, and you bought, you're good, you're on top of the world. But then when that valley hits, you're on the side of the corner with your little cup asking for change, and so you that's just kind of how it happens, unless you kind of get some systems in place, and for the most part try your best to have some consistency. And so that's one of the biggest things that I didn't understand and didn't know at the time. And just to reiterate, just don't be comfortable with having your 1 or 2 clients. I mean, being a new agent, you have an influx of good family and friends who you market to, and like, hey, yeah, I'll support you. I'll let you be my client or whatever. Mm-hmm. And once those kind of fade away, then it's, you got to figure out a way to get some new clientele. And so you got to always keep that pipeline full and trying to find new business, because like I said, 100% of the time, they're not always going to close. So out of 10 clients that you're working with, maybe 3 or 4 of them may actually reach the closing table. So, but that's just the nature of the business. So,
well, one thing I would say, which I'm quite sure you can relate to as well, this is a feast of famine business, right? You can eat, like you said, Thanksgiving 1 month. Next month, like you said, well, where's the Thanksgiving for the next month, right?
Yeah.
But that month there, you got to stretch that few more months. Brandon, you really gave us so much great insight here. Is there a question that I didn't ask that you would like to answer?
Is there a question? I don't know. Not that I can think of. I'm not sure. It may pop up in my head momentarily, but right now, I don't think there's a question. Unless you have a crystal ball, let me know what is a key to having some consistent business and constantly going. Well, I will say this. Just kind of knowing how you want to market yourself in terms of, like, case in point being, I know some agents that particularly want to work at a certain price point, meaning like they only want to work with clientele with budgets or property values of $500,000 and above. And so you market to those type of clients. Or, you want the smaller end of the tier, and just kind of marketing directly to those. So I think that's important, because regardless of what end of the spectrum you're on, you're going to do the same amount of work, honestly. Whether you're working with, $1 million clients or, $50,000 homes. So it's the work is still the same. But I think kind of tailoring how you market yourself to the certain clientele is important, instead of just kind of being all over the place or whatever, and just kind of as it comes.
Exactly.
I think that will help people that are new coming into the business kind of decide what their marketing strategy is going to be, and how to go about it, and who they choose to network with and go after.
Well, Brandon, towards the end of the show, we ask every guest for 2 golden nuggets, right? You gave us so many, but we asked the guests to give us 2 golden nuggets, whether it be a book, quote, a scripture, or a good movie, something that can inspire someone to continue to work in the business and help grow their business. Go ahead and go.
I would say and this is a personal revelation, just knowing that you're not alone. And so I actually get inspired by watching other people, whether it's other realtors in the business or just people that I don't even know, like seeing them on YouTube or whatnot. And just knowing that, people have the same struggles as you, just realizing that, there's another realtor either within your circle or, someone that you've never met. They're going through the same thing. And so that's one thing that really inspired me and kind of put things in perspective for me in times that I was really challenged. It's just knowing that, everybody has these challenges. And so the one key thing is deciding whether or not you're going to stick with it or you're going to quit and do something else. And so I've had enough failures in my life to know that quitting is just not the best decision sometimes, because you got to stick with things through the tribulations or whatnot, and just keep working at it. Every failure is just an investment, because that's something that you learn, and not to do it again, and you just kind of pivot and figure out a better resolution, a better way of doing it next time around. And so, but if you quit, then that's just it. Like, now you got to start all from ground zero doing something else, and you're gonna have some bumps and bruises with that as well. So, but yeah, just knowing that you're not in it by yourself, and somebody else is going through the same struggle and the same headaches, but you just gotta just try to find a resolution, reach out for help. So that's a big one for me. Just always being headstrong, and I grew up just not asking for help and just trying to do everything by myself. So I guess that's second nugget. Ask for help. Okay. Don't be too proud, not to ask for help. It's a humbling thing, absolutely. But I tell you, you'll have more humility when you don't ask for help and you end up being stuck somewhere you really don't want to be, and you're forced to ask for help. So just be humble and ask for help. And there are people always willing to help and provide some wisdom or whatever. That's why we're here on earth, I believe, is to help one another. And nobody gets anywhere by themselves. Oprah had help, Bill Gates had help. So, nobody does anything, nobody's successful on their own. So that's I guess those are my two nuggets.
Wow. Well, Mr. Brandon, but you really enlightened us, and I just want to give you kudos for sharing this little bit of personal, as well as this your experience of being in the business. Some of that, them rocky highs and them lows. We want to thank Mr. Brandon Washington with Washington Real Estate Investments LLC, powered by eXp Realty, and we want to thank you for being on the show, brother. And you are now an alumni on the show. We want to see you again. Okay.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. Hey.
Exactly. Hey, gang, I hope you really enjoyed that show. Our guests provide us some great tips and insight, and please support them on all social media platforms. And while I'm saying that, support us on all social media platforms. And don't forget, watch the entire video on YouTube. We'll see you next time.